Well, welcome back to the Midgar Press. My name's Jay. Hey, I've been gone for a while. Yes, I know. If you watched the previous video, then you know I was at Origins, getting a lot of stuff, taking in the experience. God, it was glorious. We're gonna do more videos about Origins later. Right now, let's get back to Bothlid's Lode, okay? So we've talked about a couple different things. Now, we're going to go to the locations. And that's what I got. I got the first one right here. We've got the gates of Bothlid. The ravine ends in a rock wall where a stone gate, no doubt magnificent in its day, now hangs wearily on broken hinges. A faint light seeps through the gate, whose beautiful ruins have been destroyed by vandals. The gate. When the gate to Bothlid's Lode was sealed, its inscriptions were removed as well. The word Lode has been erased and replaced with folly. Further insults carved by dwarven vandals can be read with a successful languages roll. White Death Triumph. Greed's Price. Glitter Grubber's Folly. Scouts. So the gate is watched by goblins within the garrison's output or out. I can't talk this morning, y'all. By this garrison's outlook posts, and that's number 6. So over here, where you've got the top view, so if you're looking at the map, okay, we've got 2 dotted lines. So the straight corridor goes underneath. That's on the that's on the first floor. The second floor is going to be number 6, which is this entire room. So don't worry about the dotted lines, okay? Don't worry about that. But these are lookout posts, kind of like arrow shoots. And then the only entrance to number 1 is through the stone into the entrance hall. Okay. So one of the things that it does is it goes ahead and gives you the White Death. So, the White Death. A deathly pale, rough-scaled sea serpent with a thick, wide body and a flat head with milky eyes and 3 curved horns. The beast emerges silently from the water without letting out a terrible, before letting out a terrible guttural roar that reeks of centuries of death as it attacks. The White Death can be lured to the surface by lowering a suitable prey into the water. In its belly rests Bothlid's master-crafted battle axe. Bothlid's battle axe. Strength requirement is 10, durability is 12. It's adorned with runes that recount its owner's exploits. So it has a ferocity of 2, size is large. Movement is 18 within the water, armor is 3, and HP is 56. So this thing has a lot of armor and it hits pretty hard. We'll get there. Tail. If an attack aimed at the White Death's tail rolled with a bane, and the reason it's rolled at a bane because it's constantly, swishing, draws blood, inflicts at least 1 point of slashing or piercing damage, roll d6 whenever the sea serpent is about to attack. If the result is a 4 to 6, the beast hits itself instead of the player character. A beast lore roll can make the player characters aware of this weak spot of the sea serpent. So let's move on to the attacks. So we have D6, one of the D6, tail swipe. The sea serpent swipes its tail at a player character within 10 meters. The attack inflicts 2d8 bludgeoning damage and knocks the victim prone. 2 of the d6. Now this one's my favorite. Devour. The beast allows the player character with the highest strength, inflicting 2d6 damage. The player character then can keep attacking the sea serpent from within, where it has no armor rating. But for each round spent in the belly's beast, the victim suffers d6 damage on their turn. Armor has no effect. The victim gets out once the monster is dead. Now, I will say, I've had like 5 player characters in 3 to 4 different games get devoured. Nobody has successfully killed the White Death yet. Nobody. So they end up getting eaten and they stay in there. 3 of the d6. Ferocious Bite. The White Death bites a player character with its razor-sharp teeth. The attack inflicts 3d8 damage, slashing damage even. 4. Drowning. The sea serpent pulls a player character into the deep, and the victim immediately begins to drown, as per page 53 of the rulebook. The player character cannot move or perform actions that require body movement, except trying to break free, which takes a strength roll with a bane. Others can help. 5 of the d6. Crushing Blow. The beast rises above the water and drops its heavy body up up to 2 player characters within 10 meters. Each victim takes 2d6 bludgeoning damage and are knocked prone. 6. Constriction. The White Death wraps its tail around the player character within 10 meters and tries to squeeze the life from them. The attack inflicts 2d6 bludgeoning damage and an additional 2d6 whenever it's on its victim's turn. The victim cannot move or perform actions that require movement, except trying to break free, which takes a strength roll with a bane. Others can help. I'm telling you, the White Death has killed, it actually TPK'd one party. This thing is nasty, and I love it. So, anyways, continuing on. The entrance hall. So, this is number 2. There are deep wheel tracks in the stone floor of the gentle sloping corridor, created by centuries of heavy, precious cargo. Just inside the broken stone gate is the portcullis, wedged half open. At the end of the corridor is a gate, above which the ceiling glitters like a starry night. So, there's the outer gate. Inside the gate, it's easy to see that both doors have been torn off their hinges, and the mechanism that once controlled them is destroyed. The gate cannot be closed. Reliefs. The walls are decorated with partially vandalized reliefs of Bothlid's exploits and the dwarf's work in the mine. The inner gate. If the scouts have raised the alarm, the inner gate is closed when the player characters get there. The gate is stiff, but can be pushed open with a successful strength roll with a bane. Others can help, which, just makes it a straight roll then. Or if you have, another player helping, like 2 or 3, then maybe you get it at a boon. So that way it's, easier to roll. The player characters can also persuade the goblins at Bothlid Square, number 3, to let them in, also with a bane, if the alarm has not been raised. The inner gate is ajar. Ambush. So, Bothlid had the ceiling decorated with crystals to create the illusion of a starry sky, which conceals the arrow slits of the garrison, number 6. So that's the room above. If the alarm has been raised, or if the player characters make a lot of noise, the guards in the garrison will attack. There are as many as the player characters and attack with surprise. Let player characters who are actively watching the ceiling roll awareness to see the holes in the ceiling and notice the movement up there. The first guard pours a cauldron of boiling, stinking goblin stew through the hole. Any player character in the room who has not explicitly said they are sticking to the walls is hit and takes D10 damage. The attack can be dodged but not parried. Then the other guards fire their short bows, and they attack with a boon because I have the high ground, Anakin. While the player characters get a bane on attacks against them. Only ranged combat is possible. The player characters can escape the ambush by pushing the gate open at number 3 or persuading the goblins to let them in. All right. Oh, hey, look. It's a very similar map. So, number 3, we have Bothlid Square. The night sky stretches out and it disappears upwards as the corridor gives way to a large open room. There is a big headless statue with a double-headed axe raised towards the ceiling. The air is cold and dank, and a dreamy haze rests over the room. Goblins. There is a group of goblins, twice as many as the player characters. If the player characters persuaded them to let them in, the goblins will lead them to Maladuk in the blast furnace. If combat breaks out and the player characters gain the upper hand, the goblins retreat to the stables and then to the garrison. Statue. The statue Bothlid erected of herself was destroyed when the gate to Bothlid's Lode was sealed after the disaster. The head is gone. A keen observer will notice the 4 long thin braids over the chest. And then the reliefs. See the entrance hall number 2, and then north to the cart halls number 4. East. Broken stone door to the mine tunnels number 7. Above the door it says Bothlid's domain in Dwarvish. Languages for non-dwarves. South, open to stables, and then west, open to the entrance hall. Cart stalls, number 4. So we are officially right here. Wide stalls separated by meter-high stone walls like the north wall of the room. Vandalized reliefs of dwarfs loading carts with gleaming silver ingots can be seen on the wall. A dying fire of broken cart parts smolders in the center of the room. Reliefs. The silver ingots are real, but thin and have some reason been left by the goblins. They can be removed quietly with sleight of hand or loudly by inflicting 10 points of damage. So the armor rating is 5. Rolling a dragon triggers random event number 9. Which is Cascade. And we've already covered those, so I'm not going to reread it. I was just curious what it was. There are 7 ingots in total, and they are worth 50 silver each. A number of broken carts can be stored here. Parts of them can be used as rafts for crossing the deeper waters of the mine. Random event. Roll d4 plus 4 on the table of page 40 for each stretch of time that the players spend here. Only random events number 7 and 8 can occur, and that's why you're rolling a d4 plus 4, because they're really trying to make it to where the 7 and 8 happen. So to the west, you have curved stone leading up to the garrison, and then south opens up to Bothlid Square. Number 5. There is a pungent smell of wet fur and dung. The walls are decorated with spoiled images of dwarves leading horse-drawn carts through dramatic landscapes. Something glints in the darkness of the old stables, and a deep growl is heard. So, you got wargs. The stables are home to the goblins' wargs. There are half as many as the player characters rounded up. The wargs don't attack unless provoked, but will protect the goblins if they retreat, as well as the warg hubs. See below. Reliefs. A successful Myth and Legends roll allows the player characters to identify one of the Misty Vale adventure sites in the mosaics. The mosaic grants a boon on the bushcraft roll leading away from the site, or leading to the site. So, pick whatever adventure site they might be going to next. As the GM, you might know that, and they now get a boon going there. They get a boon to know where it goes. Anyways, westward is more carvestone leading up to the garrison, and then north, the door to Bothlid Square. And we're going to skip the goblins and the wargs. We're going to go straight to the garrison. I'll come to those next. So, the garrison. This large room is divided by two rows of half-moon-shaped, knee-high pedestals. There are evenly spaced holes in the stone floor, as well as a wide channel leading to a large, sizzling cauldron hanging over a fireplace along the east wall. The room reeks of sulfur and rancid meat. Goblins. The goblins in the garrison are as many as the player characters. If the player characters manage to persuade them, goblins come down, put down their weapons and take them to Moladuke. The Skyfire. The cauldron over the fireplace contains a stinking, boiling hot goblin stew that can be poured on intruders in the entrance hall through the holes in the floor. Read more under number 2. Gates. The remains of mechanical wonders which allowed the dwarves to open and close the inner and outer gates as well as the porticus are still here, but nothing works anymore. Random event. Roll d4 plus 4 on the table, page 40 for each stretch of time, and they're really wanting 7 and 8 to happen. So to the north, you've got Curstone leading down to the cart stalls. Southwards, it leads to the stables. So we have covered before goblins, so I'm not going to cover the goblins, but the wargs I have not covered. If you want to see the goblins, go back to the bestiary. It's been a while. It's been a long while, but I cover all the monsters within the core book and the adventures book in there, which that means I've covered the wargs, but we're going to go ahead and cover them again because I love the wargs. I really do. I love goblins, but wargs are goblins' best friend. They really are. So they have a ferocity of 1, size is normal, movement 20, armor 0, HP is 18. So their monster attacks, they have a d6. So 1 to 2, you got Ravenous Howl. The warg lets out a Ravenous Howl. All player characters within 10 meters must make a willpower roll to resist the fear. 3 to 4 is a Pounce. The raging warg pounces at a player character and presses them against the ground. The attack inflicts 2d8 bludgeoning damage, and then 5 to 6, Warg Bite. The warg seizes the victim in its slavering maw and swings them back and forth. The attack inflicts 2d10 piercing damage, and the victim is hurled 2d4 meters, landing prone. So one of the cool things I like about the wargs in this scenario is that I haven't met a single player character that's encountered them. And essentially, all they see are the eyes, and they don't go towards it. Just these red, murderous-looking eyes. Now, that being said, whenever the player characters, like if they go to 5 and they go up to the garrison, they'll see the dogs running. Like I'll make it a point to say that they see wargs running out of the building. Okay. I've also, like, if they've let any goblins survive, I will say that like a goblin has grabbed some of the warg cubs and they have started to run away. So, there's potential for role play there, that leaves a lot to interpret as the GM, and it's fun. I love it. I love it. So, that was Bothlid's Lode 1 through 6. Next, we'll cover the mine itself. So, do all the things. I need you to like this. I need you to comment. I need you to share, okay? So do all the things and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. That way you can see when these videos go live. So until next time, live on and game on, my friends.